everyone. Thank you so much for being here. This is Wrong Answers Only. I am your host, Chris Duffy, and this show is produced by LabX, a public engagement program at the National Academy of Sciences. And for those of you who are joining us for the very first time, the National Academy of Sciences is a private, nonprofit institution that gives the government objective, evidence-based advice. LabX is the team at National Academies that takes that fancy science and makes it fun. They create video games, shows, board games, and video series to make it digestible. And here's a fun fact, since we're doing tonight's show all about dinosaurs. Neil Shubin is the board chair of LabX, and he is the person who found Tiktaalik, a fossil of a fish-like creature that was halfway between fish and the earliest four-legged land mammals. Also, it sounds a lot like a very popular social media app, Tiktaalik. Anyway, I'm sure that so many of you know how badly I pronounce that, and I'm sorry, and I promise you the rest of the show will be more factually accurate. Speaking of tonight's show, you, the audience, and our panel of comedians are going to learn all about dinosaur research from our scientific expert, and also what she is like when she is not doing that scientific research. I want to point out, this is really important, this is an interactive show. So we're doing this online, we're not all in the same theater. The beauty of that, though, is that we can get everyone involved. So we want to hear your jokes. We want to hear your questions. We want you to play these games right along with us. We've already got questions that have gone in through the chat. Someone asked, did you guys coordinate this topic with the Top Chef episode where the contestants are taking their inspiration for the food from Dinosaurs? It is airing on the East Coast right now. And the answer is obviously yes. We always coordinate our topics with Top Chef. We are a Top Chef affiliated science comedy show that streams online. Obviously, I should have mentioned that months ago, but yes, of course, we are intimately tied to the Top Chef franchise. If you have questions that are not about Top Chef and are about the science, you can put those in too. And we want you to be playing these games right along with us. If you look on your browser, right below where you're watching, you should have the ability to type comments and to get those questions, and also to see the polls, which we're going to use throughout the show. If you can't see that, you may need to leave full screen whenever you want to comment. And we are going to throw up a test poll right now. So for those of you who are testing out whether your poll works or seeing it, click over to the poll and let us see your answers. Our test poll question is, what is your favorite dinosaur? Is it A, T-Rex, B, Triceratops, C, a different dinosaur that you did not just give me as an option, Chris, or D, this poll is not working for me? Okay, these are very meta answer. If you're clicking that and we see it, then somehow it is working for you, but you don't think it is. So, and also, just to say, if the polls don't work, you can't figure out how to send messages, you can just watch and you'll have a great time anyway. And after tonight's show, you are going to receive a post-show email with links to go deeper into our scientist's work, to get much more into her research and findings, and also to hear more from each of our comedic panelists. There's also going to be a trivia question. In that email, there will be a trivia question. And if you answer that trivia question correctly, well, you will join the immortals on the Wrong Answers Only Scroll of Glory. It is a prize so incredible that money cannot buy it. And this is this month's Scroll of Glory. These are the folks who nailed the question about yeast from our last episode. Here is the Scroll of Glory. Congratulations. Congratulations to Ashanti, to Brendan, to Bruce, to Cam, to Cameron, to Danica, to Elsa, to Amelia, to Grace, to Gregory, to Howard, to Janet, to Chloe, to Kimberly, to Leia, to Logan, to Macy, to Marlene, to Milton, to Peter, to Sarah, to Sheila, to Stacy, to Trent. You are all heroes. You are absolutely heroes, and you will be remembered forever because your names were on that list for answering a trivia question correctly in an email that was sent to you after a web-based show. And you could join that illustrious list next episode. All you have to do is answer the question in the email correctly. Okay. Also, in last month's show, we did all about yeast. We had an incredible show about that, the science of yeast, and we asked our viewers to send us a yeast-based memory. Dangerous question, confusing question, and yet we got some amazing answers. Here are some yeast memories that I just wanted to share because I thought they were so good. One, my first attempt at pandemic bread led to a brick as I discovered that my yeast had expired. That is, of course, something that we can all relate to. That's a pretty standard one. Someone said, I tried baking scones for a girl I was trying to impress in a fire tower high above a forest in Colorado, as though being in the fire tower high above the forest in Colorado was not impressive enough. And then the last one that I want to say, this is truly stupendous. This is true. Someone sent this in. My grandpa loved bread so much that he asked us to throw croutons into his casket. Great man. A truly inspiring way to go out, with croutons in your gasket as you get buried. That's my favorite yeast fact that someone sent in. Okay, enough about the past. Let's get into the present, tonight's show, and the future of this show, which is the past, which is dinosaurs. So, confusing way to say it, but let's get into tonight's show. Tonight's show, we have an incredible panel of comedians who are going to be playing. We've got Chrissy Shackelford, Josh Gondelman, and Karen Chi. Hello.
Hello.
Thank you so much for being here, all three of you. We also have an amazing expert, and let's find out who today's expert is. She has been called the punk rock paleontologist, and I could tell you more about her, but much better than me going on and on. Let's let you hear about her from herself. Here is a video.
One of the most important things you can learn from studying Mesozoic birds, the earliest birds, that would be to understand where did birds come from, right? So that would be the dinosaur bird transition. And then the other major question to ask when you're studying Mesozoic birds is, well, like if you look at Archaeopteryx, the oldest fossil bird, the only Jurassic bird, it's not very bird-like, right? So the skeleton, nothing birdie about it. Their biology, also not particularly birdie. So then my other major research question is to understand, well, how do you go from something like Archaeopteryx to something like a modern bird? Because modern birds are the most highly modified groups of amniotes on the planet. Like every aspect of their physiology has been modified in some way to facilitate flight. And so we try to piece together from the very scrappy fossil record of Mesozoic birds, like how and when these modifications evolved. Hi, my name is Jingmei O'Connor. I'm the Associate Curator of Fossil Reptiles at the Field Museum in Chicago. I am a dinosaur paleobiologist whose specialty is the dinosaur-bird transition and the early evolution of birds.
Jingmei, thank you so much for being here and letting us talk to you about your work.
It is absolutely my pleasure. It's always fun to like take science and try to, make it something that can be entertaining, I hope.
Fingers
my
crossed.
goal tonight. Yeah.
Fingers crossed. Well, panelists, you're going to get a chance to ask Jingmei all sorts of questions over the course of the show, but this is your first opportunity to ask a dinosaur expert about her work. We call this You Do What? So, panelists, what do you want to know? Josh, let's start with you. What's the first question you want to ask a paleo?
Sure. Okay, so I want to lean into your area of specialization, and I want to ask, first of all, did you ever see the band Dinosaur Bird Transition back at the original CBGB? Incredible. Second question, why did dinosaurs stop being dinosaurs and start being birds? I know that sounds like the beginning to the dinosaur real world, but I do want to know the answer.
Okay, well, great band name. I should have thought of that when I was in grad school. I wanted to start a band called Chinggis Khan's Abandoned Chonies, but your name was better. So when did birds stop being dinosaurs and start being birds? Well, first I would say they never stopped being dinosaurs. They are definitely still dinosaurs. But what separates a bird from a dinosaur is actually a really good question, and is one that scientists really don't have a good answer for. So we used to say that birds are dinosaurs that learn to fly, right? So we would say when they start flying, that's what makes them birds and like not just dinosaurs, like bird dinosaurs. But now we actually know that there's lots of flying dinosaurs. Birds weren't the only dinosaurs that evolved flight. So you'd have to say like in the evolutionary lineage towards birds, where flight appears, you can like draw a line there and be like, now it's a bird. But it is like, there's still, it's kind of an arbitrary, line in the sand, but you have to draw the line somewhere. And evolution is these like gradual transitions sometimes. It's not like, boom, I'm a new species, like Pokemon evolution or something.
Right. Sure. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Chrissy, what's the first question that you want to ask?
Yeah, one, thank you so much for your work. And I am sure that everyone asked you about Jurassic Park. So I won't be that hack. I'll ask you about something a little bit more highbrow, which is the television show Dinosaurs accurate?
Is that one? Okay, no. Yeah, that's that one from like the 90s, 80s, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, the
dinosaur sitcom.
So I loved that show. As a kid, I did not like dinosaurs in general, but I liked that TV show. But looking back on it, it's super bizarre because all the dinosaurs in the family are completely different species. So like how would
and I think that's beautiful.
And like the duck-billed dinosaur mom, like how are they gonna have a cloacal kiss and produce like, you know, whatever their children were, you know. So it was, yeah, it was kind of bizarre. I guess they were adopted. I don't know. But
so a lot of just like logistics in the family tree.
Yeah.
I also feel like, you know, they wouldn't really be friends. Like there's carnivores and herbivores that would like be trying to kill each other. You know, it's not realistic.
Wow. So it's actually really ahead of its time.
Yeah, very woke.
Someone is saying, I think they're taking the wrong thing away from what you're saying. And they're saying, what are other accurate dinosaur-based shows? Which I think they think that this one is accurate, and I think you're saying it's very much not.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that TV show Dinosaur Train. I honestly have never seen it. Like outside of my work, I'm not a dinosaur nerd. Sorry. So I'm not like,
wow.
You know, yeah, I'm sorry, don't hate me. But yeah, probably I'm gonna hope that Dinosaur Train is accurate because it's supposed to be teaching children about dinosaurs.
Okay, well, I'm gonna come back to that in a second, but first let's get Karen's first question out there. Karen, what's the first thing that you want to ask?
I had a question. I'm gonna change it because I'm confused, because isn't a paleontologist by definition a dinosaur nerd? So if you aren't one, then what are you? What do you do for your job?
I'm a freak. Well, I just really like evolution, you know, evolution as a concept and how you go from a single cell organism to the incredibly diverse, you know, life that you have on our planet today. Like that is fascinating to think about. It blows the mind. That's crazy. So I really like evolution, you know, and I like thinking about it and trying to figure it out. And I was a geology major. So when I discovered evolution, so if you're going to study evolution through the lens of geology, you've got to be a paleontologist. And then I ended up studying dinosaurs really just by a luck of a draw. Like I applied to a bunch of grad schools, and then I got into a program to work with a guy who's like, if you work with me, you're working on Mesozoic birds. And I was like, yeah, okay. And
well, so it's interesting because oh, sorry, Chrissy, go for it.
No, I was just gonna say, it sounds like you had like a whiplash situation, but your J.K. Simmons was like Mesozoic birds. That's not my dinosaur.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also interesting because I imagine that this is a field where a lot of your colleagues have been obsessed with dinosaurs since they were like 5 years old. So you must be the odd person in it who is like, yeah, you know, I like the work, but I'm not passionate about the representations or anything like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, I definitely, you know, I always joke like I'm late to the paleo party. You know, I discovered paleontology in college, which is super, super late. Like everyone else is like, since they were 3, 4, 5, they've wanted to be a paleontologist. When I was 5 years old, I wanted to be a witch and put curses on people. Yeah, so
that's pretty cool.
Never too late,
right?
And it comes full circle because when you spend time at an academic conference, you once again want to put curses on people.
I also love though that like you really like very late bloomer. You're like, I know some people that, you know, didn't start drinking until after college or have their first kiss, and you're like, I got into dinosaurs pretty late college.
Damn it. Like, no, you pegged me. I was a late bloomer on all of the things actually. Like also first kiss in college. Like,
was it when you discovered dinosaurs?
Yeah, super, super late bloomer.
Wait, tell us more about your first kiss. When did it happen? Who was it with? How did it go?
Yeah, before we move on, let's definitely hear that.
Yeah, it was, well, shit, I don't want like, I mean, not that this guy's probably listening, but yeah, it was some half Asian dude in college, you know, I was like, oh, you're pretty half Asian. He's like, you're pretty half Asian. And I'm like, yeah. And it was like that. And then we broke up after a year. But it's fine.
Well,
he probably really regrets it.
Yeah, I'm sure if he's watching right now, he regrets it because this is, you know, you're a rock star now. And also, I want to say some people are really, the chat is absolutely blowing up, not just about your first kiss, but also people are loving the phrase cloacal kiss that you said. Someone said, oh my God, cloacal kiss is what I'm calling date night, which is not, I just want to say you should not tell your babysitter that that's what you're going to do when you're hiring them. And also cloacal kiss is my new band name, you know, obviously you're into it.
I definitely thought it sounded like something from like a Red Hot Chili Peppers song.
Well, you know, personally, I like penetration, but like, you know, I'm not going to judge. Yeah, a lot of birds, you know, with their dinosaurs, they don't have wieners. They just, they just cloacal kiss, you know, and just like opens up and like vomits semen inside the other cloaca. It's, I mean, Google some diagrams. They're pretty funny. They're like two chickens on top of each other, and then it like shows what's happening inside.
Well, it only took us 15 minutes until we got all the information we needed. So thanks.
People are like, all right, I'm done. This is enough.
Well, actually, you know what? Let's actually get into our next segment. So one of the coolest things about being a paleontologist, at least in my opinion, is getting to discover a new species. That's so cool. And the only thing cooler than discovering a new species is getting to name that species. So Jingmei famously discovered a new species of early bird and then named it after the lead singer of the punk band Bad Religion. What did you name that species?
So it's named Chilenia graffini. So the species name graffini refers to Greg Graffin, lead singer of Bad Religion. And then the genus name Chilenia refers to the Chilean mountains that are nearby where the fossil was found. I actually did not find it. I was just part of a team that was describing it. And I was talking to this other girl who was also on the authors list. And I was like, I love Bad Religion. And she was like, me too. And, you know, because Greg Graffin did his master's in vertebrate paleontology and he published in the Journal of Vertebrate Paleontology. Like, wow, that's so cool.
Got to be one of the few punk rock singers who's also a paleontologist on the side.
The only one that I know of, like if I'm missing somebody, I'm sorry, I'll name species after you too. Shit, I don't know. Well, maybe not. It depends if I like your music or not. I'm a big Bad Religion fan, but beyond that, not that much punk. I don't listen to that much. So the misnomer, like the name punk rock paleontologist is a little bit of a misnomer.
What would you say is a more accurate name for yourself then?
Like disco dancing crazy lady. I don't know.
Yeah, you cut paleontologist out of that name entirely.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's not how I identify myself.
Well, I do just want to celebrate that species that you gave a killer name to. And so we're going to play a game that's called Famous Dead Rock Bird. Okay, so panelists, before the show, I asked you to draw a picture of what you think an extinct early bird ancestor named after the punk singer of Bad Religion might look like. That was all the information you got. And let's see some of your drawings. So let's start, Josh, with yours. You drew this mere moments ago.
Yeah, but not to brag, I think I knocked it out of the damn park.
Okay,
so it's I hope this reads on camera. So that it's kind of shaped like an upside down cross to signify the badness of religion, I don't know how heretical it is. And then there's kind of cross hashing to indicate feathers, and then just like a big cool tail, and then kind of gnashing jaws. That's what I got going on.
You know, something I'd love to point out about this is you didn't just draw the bird-like creature that she named. You also imagined that she designed it to be representative of the idea of.
Well, I mean, why else would you name it after him, right? If it didn't embody those ideals. Like if there was like a bird that was just like a total loser, I wouldn't name it after my mom because I wouldn't want people to think my mom was a loser.
Okay, Jingmei, an initial reaction to that?
Have you ever seen a dinosaur before?
No!
Wow.
Stinks for millennia, and all the representations are inaccurate.
You just called you a fucking idiot.
Not extinct.
I mean, I am an idiot, but it's not for not having met a dinosaur.
I was teasing anyways. It's very cute. I really liked the little hamburger head that it had.
Yeah. He's kind of the bird that's inspired by Mayor McCheese.
Okay, so someone is already saying that they would like to get that dinosaur tattooed on their body. So you have someone you can sell.
I'll hold it up again if anyone needs to screen grab it for a tattoo, or if they just kind of want to model their life after it, like whatever kind of permanent commitment they want to make to this bad boy.
It does look like a child who asked to go trick or treating at the last minute. Like, okay. Paper bag, tail, mask.
I did. That was like my parents' MO when I was a kid, where I'd be like, I want to be a robot, and my parents would be like, sick. That's a cardboard box ass costume.
You guys that's awesome. I was Charlie Brown for like 4 years in a row because every year they were like, just wear last year's again. You only wore it once, and I'd be like, okay.
I'm sold. Okay, Chrissy, let's see your design.
Of course, so thrilled to reveal this bird, which
does that bird have abs?
Yeah, I felt like this bird really, let me just say, like, I really felt like if you were gonna look at a bird and be like, that's the lead singer of a punk band, this would be the bird. He's also flipping you the bird
Oh, cool.
Wow.
He's
And
got a
it-
little cigarette. He's got a little crop top showing off his human abs. And I do know that you had named him, but I thought his name was probably Zane. I think we should rename.
Yeah, you named the species, but you didn't name the individual. I love Zane is definitely the individual.
Yeah. So this is Zane, and he will ruin you emotionally.
Mm. Okay, so
And he's gonna host the Bird vs. Drive-ins and Dives called Dinos, Drive-ins and Dives.
Yes,
That's really
absolutely.
good. Green light.
Okay, Jingmei, first question, I guess, is how many dinosaurs that you found are actually already wearing sunglasses?
It's something I'm still looking for, unfortunately. I've definitely lost my sunglasses out in the field, so maybe there's some dinosaurs that were like, yoink.
Okay.
But yeah, also still looking for a sexy dinosaur with abs. I haven't found that. Or a sexy smoking cigarette dinosaur. Like,
Well, be the change you wish to see in the world.
How disappointed were you when you found out his name was Greg and not Zane? You're like, Greg.
I was really disappointed because a Greg is not a Zane, and a Greg can never be a Zane.
That's true. That is true. Yep.
Zane energy is specific, and Greg energy is nothing.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
it's
true.
insane.
Sorry to the Gregs in the chat.
I apologize for the pun.
Okay, last one. Karen, talk to us.
Listen, I wish I had colored mine in. I didn't even think to do that. Excuse me. I have a lot of little details. Okay, so I'll just sort of talk through it. This is like a duck boy. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
We love a little duck, but doesn't have feet. They haven't been evolutionized yet.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so it has like cool punk rock hair, kind of like Chrissy's, but then because of the religion part, I gave him a Pope hat. And then because it's a bad religion, it's like a cross necklace, but it's sideways, so it's just like an X. And then because it's a punk singer, I wrote a little tag that shows that he got the necklace at Hot Topic. And then I forgot, I was like, oh my gosh, he's not a religion, like an anti-religion boy, he's a musician. So then he's holding drumsticks, but I'm worried that because I'm the person who drew it, people are going to think it's chopsticks. So I just want to be clear, it's drumsticks. And this man is a big drummer. And also, like, you guys should get it tattooed. So if you're like one of the people who are like, I'm gonna get Josh's tattooed, you have to also get mine.
That is true. That's accurate.
That's the deal.
Jingmei, what do you think? Who got closest in your opinion?
I'm gonna have to go with Chrissy. Yeah, I mean, I wish that it would actually look that cool, but yours was the most anatomically correct. Like Karen's, yours had dinosaur. It had like dragon wings. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah,
like,
you're welcome.
yeah, I mean, I wish, but yeah, I'm sorry to be boring and give the point to the anatomically correct one, but I just like can't kill that stick up my bum.
Yeah, well, it's beautiful. It's beautiful that you said Chrissy's was the closest to what it actually looked like, because I would like to show us now a drawing of what we believe the actual dinosaur did look like. So let's look at that now. The bird.
What? Wait, this looks like Karen's. It looks like Josh's, right? Does it look like?
Certainly does not evoke a Zane energy to me.
Okay, I was
just say that.
Chrissy's is the furthest.
They gave him Karen mohawk, that was pretty cool. And he's kind of like strutting, like I'm a punk rocker, like I don't. But okay, but you guys show them what the actual fossil looks like, because this picture is like 99% conjecture.
I'm not actually sure that we have a photo of the fossil loaded up.
We'll show what the fossil looks like. Looks like a piece of soap that somebody cut a divot into. All fossils,
So this is, you really have not the whole animal here. So this is a lot of conjecture. But what is Jingmei? What is the actual fossil that was discovered?
It's just a leg and a little piece of the hip. So yeah, I mean, everything, what the wings look like, what the head looked like, did it have teeth, did it not have teeth? Like, these are all things we don't know. What its feathers look like, what color they were, like we have zero knowledge about that. So yeah, I mean, this is kind of like when you make a reconstruction from something that's really incomplete, you draw from other taxa that you know of and you kind of make an educated guess. So I think this is a pretty accurate reconstruction, except for I don't like the coloring, and also I don't think it had the little mohawk thingy, but I like it. You know, it makes it bad religion, so we'll allow it.
So my drawing is almost like as accurate as that one.
It also has the legs and the hip.
Yeah, I think like isn't that like a different punk rock band, like Rancid or something? Who's got the guy with the green hair? Like,
Of course, and I was pulling from a lot of different references.
you did your research.
Okay, well, we're already talking a little bit about your research, Jingmei, and let's get into your methods a little bit more. This is a game that we call Bond Villain or Paleontologist. Okay, so this is a lightning round, panelists. So I'm going to give you a method, and then we're just going to go really quickly through you, and you're going to have to tell me whether you think that this method is something that a villain has used to try and kill James Bond, or something that Jingmei uses and does to fossils in her research, okay? So first one, dissolve him in acid. Is that Jingmei? Is that a Bond villain, or is that both? Josh, what do you think?
Both.
Chrissy?
Just Bond.
Karen?
Just because of how they answered, just Jingmei.
It is both. It is both. You dissolve your fossils in acid, which is it seems like a dangerous game when you only have a little bit of fossil, but why do you do that?
Oh, we do it so we can try to see organics that are trapped inside the fossils. So you wouldn't be able to see it if with all the actual like hard stuff in the way. So you get rid of the hard stuff, and then you actually can see if there's like blood vessels and other crazy things preserved in there. But actually using acid is it's used in a lot of different paleontological techniques. For example, people will acid prep fossils, for example, if they're in some kind of like carbonate type rock where the acid will dissolve the rock around and leave the fossils, only fossils. It's way easier than like taking a drill or something and try to take the rock off and just dissolve it. So there's lots of different applications for acid in paleontology, not just getting high. I'm kidding.
Okay, well, next one. Shoot him with a laser. Is that Jingmei? Is that a Bond villain, or is that both? Let's start with you this time, Karen. What do you think?
That's both.
Okay, Chrissy?
I'm going just Bond again.
Okay, Josh?
I'm going both, like my hero, Karen Chi.
Okay, and it is also both. It is also both. Shoot him with a laser.
You're underestimating the weird shit that paleontologists do. So this is actually, it's a method that's typically used by chemists, but now there's a really brilliant paleontologist named Yasmina Viman who also does it, and she's brilliant. So I'm like, I'm gonna work with you, right? So yeah, together we like shoot lasers at all these different fossils, and there's so many different cool things that you can learn from using this technique. And recently we shot lasers at Sue the T-Rex to prove that dinosaurs like T-Rex were not cold-blooded.
And that's a big thing. I mean, I always thought that because I still have in my head that they're lizards, that they were cold-blooded, but they're actually were not at all cold-blooded.
They were really nice and sweet.
And the lasers warm the blood up. I know that from science.
Well, so they're a type of reptiles called archosaurs. So it's separate from the group of reptiles that has lizards and snakes. They're all cold-blooded. But archosaurs, like you have the only living archosaurs are birds and crocs. And birds are super warm-blooded, even more warm-blooded than mammals, but living crocs are all cold-blooded. So we assumed that dinosaurs also were cold-blooded and then evolved to be warm-blooded. But now the crazy thing that we figured out is that crocodiles are secondarily cold-blooded. The ancestral crocodilian condition was to be warm-blooded. So usually we look at living animals to try to understand fossils, but sometimes evolution is so crazy and so bizarre and so many sharp turns and stuff that the living animals can lead you astray.
Okay, so I have a bunch of friends that moved from the East Coast to Southern California, and I think the same thing happened to them, is they went from having very warm blood to very cold blood.
What are you saying about Californians?
I'm saying, especially in Southern California, that they put on a jacket when it's 60 degrees.
Fair enough.
Okay. You went from being offended to being I actually agree. That is true.
Yeah, that's true.
The stereotype is accurate.
Okay, last one in this lightning round. Grind him using diamond dust. Is that Jingmei? Is that a Bond villain, or is that both? Chrissy, let's start with you.
Both.
Josh.
Just science.
Karen.
I also think just science.
And the answer is just science. Are
you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Chrissy, you went 0 for 3.
I'm gonna murder you. I'm gonna make it so you can never cloacal piss anyone ever again.
Well, when you murder me, the interesting thing is you have 3 options now: acid, lasers, or diamond dust, all of which are used in scientific research as well.
These are the only diamonds that lady scientists are ever going to see in their lives.
Oh, wow. And okay, so why do you use diamond dust?
It's diamonds. It's the hardest element, or a mineral on the planet. So we use it to like grind down other things that are not as hard, like dinosaur bones. So you cut dinosaur bones
to make your bread.
But then you got to grind them even thinner so that you can actually shine light through them. And then you can look at things like, how old is this dinosaur, or how fast was it growing, that kind of thing. So you use this diamond dust to grind it, until it's about like 80 microns thick. And then you can look at it under a microscope.
I also want to point out,
how much does Gwyneth Paltrow sell it for?
I mean, I thought she was strictly in the like cloaca candle scent business.
Seems right.
Diamond dust to put in your cloaca afterwards.
Yeah.
Is diamond dust very expensive? That's actually something I'm curious about. How much expensive is diamond dust?
I don't think it's very expensive, because if it was, then we'd just be like,
oh, sandpaper's like $6.
Yeah. So if you're broke, you can just get the diamond dust and kind of like slowly put it together and reconstitute it into a diamond, like
or just make it yourself. Just get a piece of coal and wait millions of years.
And just like squeeze it really hard, like.
Well, I also want to say one last way in which you are like a Bond villain, which is it's actually, sometimes you do this yourself, but it's mostly your hench people who are doing this dirty work, your grad students.
Yes, that's true. Like most of the really awesome methods being used in paleontology started coming out like right after I did my PhD. So even though like, I guess I'm not that old, I mean, I don't have that many gray hairs yet, but like I already feel like an old lady because all these young paleontologists are doing all this crazy cool stuff. But if you can't beat them, join them. So I just like give them money to do postdocs with me. And then, they do all the heavy lifting and I get to just put my name on it and look cool.
Okay, so I'm going to get some questions from the audience now because people are want to know all sorts of things from you. First one is, what is your favorite fossil bird?
Ooh, Jeholornis. So Jeholornis is the only Cretaceous bird with a really long tail, like you see in non-avian dinosaurs, right? So like Archaeopteryx, the first bird, had a long tail. All eating birds have short tails. Yeah, Jeholornis, yeah, like that, except they don't curl. So like dinosaur tails are always
never
straight and rigid. Yeah, we don't have any prehensile tails, as maybe we just haven't found them yet. If I find one with a prehensile tail, I will name it after you.
Oh my God.
Oh wow, that's a big promise.
Shit. Yeah, that's the coolest thing anyone's ever said to me.
But yeah, Jeholornis is really cool. Like I could go on about Jeholornis all day, but I won't. You guys should just Google it and check it out.
It really just sounds like you're talking about a guy named Jeff Lornis. Is that what you're hearing?
Yeah, I knew Jeff Lornis.
Yeah.
I love Jeff Lornis. He's such a cool guy. Prehensile tail.
Yeah, he hosts trivia.
He named it after me.
You mentioned coloring before. Someone said, what color were dinosaurs?
Oh, they were all different colors. Though I know like some people, like the famous paleontologist Jack Horner says like, there can be pink dinosaurs. And like, I just have to say like, Jack, I respect you so much, but I disagree with that front. Like, I don't think there were any pink dinosaurs. Sorry guys, to all you pink lovers out there. But yeah, right now we have one technique to understand partially fossil color, but we can really only detect the organelles that form like black and rusty red and gray. But that's really only one part of the color. So for example, if you had these organelles, these things called melanosomes for a blue jay, which is a blue bird, and you fossilized it and you just had its melanosomes, it would tell you it was black, but it's not black, it's blue. So we really right now can't fully tell you what color things were. But I think that we can say that they were definitely a good diversity of colors. Like, we even would say that structural colors, like really bright colors, like blues and purples and things, like we think those were present in dinosaurs closely related to birds. Maybe not like the big sauropods. They were probably like gray and, more dull colors, kind of like large herbivores we have alive today, like elephants, they're gray. We know that at least some duck-billed dinosaurs were gray, but the dinosaurs with higher metabolic rates and things that are feathered, that are closely related to birds, I think you can really go with lots of different colors in your palette there.
Before we move too far along, someone is saying, could you please hit us with the spelling of your favorite dinosaur so that they can look it up? Or your favorite fossil bird, sorry, the one you were saying before.
Okay, yeah, Jehornis is Jeholornis, Jehornis, and it's named after this region in China where all these fossils are found, and the region in Chinese is Rehe. So I don't really know how the white people got Jehol from that, but yeah, Rehe Niao would be the Chinese name.
Someone is asking, is there anything that recent technology allows you to do remotely or repeatedly with like 3D models maybe that used to require hands-on access? I mean, obviously we are remotely doing this show, but I assume there's other big changes that technology have changed in your work, not just performing on comedy shows.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, we still need to access the fossils, but we can do things like this high resolution scanning, CT scanning, where you put it in a scanner and you get these, these slices that are then, so a CT scan is basically, it's a 3D X-ray, but actually what it is just a bunch of X-rays that then you stack together and kind of make a 3D model from that. So once you've had the fossil in your hand and CT scanned it, then you can use that digital data on your computer any place in the world to analyze it. But we still, paleontology is still really ultimately a hands-on specimen-based field of science.
Someone asked, why did ichthyosaurs develop tails that moved back and forth for locomotion, and cetaceans of similar size have tails that move up and down? This seems like a person who knows what they're talking about.
There's a smarty in the chat.
This almost sounds like it's like a paleontologist comedy premise, like ichthyosaurs be locomoting like this, etc.
Yeah.
So, I don't work on ichthyosaurs at all. And so I think it's always really important as a scientist to say when you don't know and not to like just bullshit people. But there actually is an up and coming paleontologist named Kirsten Formosa, and she does work on this. I saw her give a talk all about this recently. And unfortunately, I can't remember the punchline clear enough to spit it back to you. I don't want to make any mistakes, but I would look her up and keep your eyes peeled for all the cool research that she's going to do that's going to be coming out in the near future. And she will definitely answer that question for you.
That was also the closest I've ever heard a scientist get to the same way that we speak as comedians. Like, oh, there's this cool up and coming paleontologist. You should definitely check out her stuff. She's got something new that's going to drop soon. I would definitely recommend going to her website and looking it up.
Punchline, yeah.
I think it's so nice that you're like looking out for up and coming paleontologists still, and you're not, you still representing for the indie rock paleontologists.
Yes.
Well, I mean, all these young people are doing such cool things. So I got to keep them on my, I need to stay on their good side so that when I'm old and obsolete, they'll still be nice to me and collaborate.
Well, speaking of not up and coming at all, but speaking of other people doing amazing work, we have a special celebrity guest segment that we are calling Call Me By Your Dino Name. Okay, so for this segment, we have a special science celebrity guest, Dustin Groek from the @DinosaurWhisperer Instagram account. Dustin, thank you so much for being here. You are hilarious, you're brilliant, and we're so glad that you could be with us.
Thank you. No one has ever referred to me as a celebrity before, so I'll take it.
Well, I did qualify science celebrity. Science celebrity.
Okay, cool. Putting that on my business cards moving forward.
So Dustin, you have some other species that you are going to share with us, right?
Yeah. So I thought I would channel my best high school yearbook committee and make some superlatives for some of the absolute best dinosaur names. I mean, dinosaurs, as we all in this room right now know, are the greatest group of animals who have ever existed. And I think they need more awards than just that. So I'm going to show you guys some of my favorite dinosaur names, give you the superlative award that they have won, and then hopefully our esteemed panelists here can, especially the non-scientists, Jingmei, maybe we'll let them have a guess at what this animal actually looks like before we reveal the actual picture. Cool.
Oh my gosh,
all right.
Great.
So let's go with our first one. It is a small dinosaur, but it has the absolute longest dinosaur name. It is Micropachycephalosaurus. Before I tell you guys what that means, any guesses from the comedic panel, what the hell this dinosaur might have looked like?
A tiny dinosaur. It looks like a smaller version of the Pachycephalosaurus.
Wow.
That's good. That's smart.
That's so smart.
That's so smart. You can't argue with that.
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely correct. It is basically a smaller version of the more well-known, larger Pachycephalosaurus, but you got to put the micro on there for literally the longest dinosaur name, Micropachycephalosaurus, which of course means small, thick-headed lizard, which is...
We've all been called that before.
Can we see the image now, please? There we go.
Wow.
Oh my
Just
gosh,
like-
it's disgusting looking.
But look at those eyelashes.
And also, I should mention, like Jing Mei said, a lot of the coloration and some of the integuments, like the non-hard parts, the soft stuff, is speculative, taking either creative license or looking at modern corollaries to draw something that looks like maybe what we think it might have looked like.
So
That is
those
our first
ass
one.
spikes were correct or no?
Yes,
they're
those are
not- so
technically called
they-
ass spikes. That is correct.
I'm
Well,
laughing
that's what
so
we're
hard
gonna call
because
them from now on. We don't have a name for it, but those are from Psittacosaurus. Somebody just took those from a Psittacosaurus and stuck them on the Micropachycephalosaurus, which makes no sense. So
Listen,
like,
I
I
feel-
was about to say that. I'm so glad you pointed it out. We were.
I
all
feel like as long oh sorry, Karen. I just saying I feel like as long as we're just like imagining what the soft parts look like, there should be a dinosaur that canonically has huge butt cheeks.
Yeah.
a huge truck.
Sir, you're getting slightly ahead of us. So
Oh,
just-
wow.
sick.
Here we go.
Oh, this is very wow. Okay.
Well, maybe. Okay, so our next one, another favorite name of mine. This I've given the award of most annoying. This dinosaur's name is literally just Irritator.
Wow.
Oh.
Yes.
That
Wow.
doesn't
Literally an actual name of an actual real dinosaur, and I realize you have no context whatsoever to guess what this thing looks like.
You
I also
know,
like that
if
it's-
I were a stand-up comedian who was a 5th grader, I'd say it probably looks like my little brother.
It's also the only dinosaur name that I've ever heard that doesn't come up at the top of the Google search results. Like Irritator, you have to type plus dinosaur to even come up. That's rough SEO. Anyone else?
I want at least one guess. What does this thing look like? Is it big? Is it small? Herbivore, carnivore? What do you think?
I'm gonna say it's an herbivore, and it's not that big, but it has really long fingers, and it always pokes the
Ooh.
other dinosaurs, and that's why it's the Irritator.
I'm not touching you.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's got like an itchy wool-like coat.
Hmm.
I think it looks like, are you familiar with Monsters, Inc., the film?
Yes.
Okay, great. I think it probably looks like Randall, as voiced by Steve Buscemi.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, it's actually named not for anything having to do with the dinosaur itself, but it was found by collectors, not scientists. And by the time the scientists got a hold of it, they were very irritated as to how much damage this skull had incurred on a Spinosaurid. You guys maybe heard of Spinosaurus. This is a relative of Spinosaurus. Can we see the image, please? It's not going to look like anything you imagine.
Wow. I'll tell you what though, look at that person for scale. They are dressed up.
She's so
it's
hot.
like an import
Oh my
model for
God.
dinosaurs, you know?
She's like, I know I shouldn't like the Irritator. I know he treats me badly, but I
Yeah.
can't help but do
He's checking out his cloaca.
So beautiful.
I can change him.
It looks like
I
a
should mention these
seesaw.
are all by a paleo artist named Sissio Purple, and I just love his interpretations of dinosaurs. I like that there's like a map, a time period, but the scale models he uses are just wild. I don't know why, but
It's like, you know what's funny is that like when I think of a dinosaur, I usually sometimes they're like 6 feet tall, 10 feet tall, but they never specify like 6 feet tall, 6'9" in heels. And I think that scale model helps.
Yeah. I also love that if a bunch of rich collectors destroyed something, that the worst the scientists could come up with was Irritator, right? I feel like that's like, they could have gone harder.
Yeah, this dinosaur could very easily be called the motherfucker.
that is not kid friendly. But it's a good name. We'll keep that in mind. For Jing Mei, if you find new dinosaurs, you can name it after Josh or that. All right, number 3. I have awarded this particular dinosaur the award of most likely to be filled with liquid hot magma because it is named Volcanodon, however you want to pronounce that. Any guesses as to what Volcanodon may have looked like?
You know, I'm not a Star Trek person. It's not my journey, never have been, never will be. But I have taken from context clues from the nerds I surround myself with that Vulcan is like people in Star Trek. So I think they probably got like hands like this or whatever. And like the face, like William Shatner or something. I don't know. Wait, is it this? Is that how they look?
Right? It's Leonard Nimoy.
Yeah.
Sure, that freak, him. They look like that.
So I had to double check that I had spelled this correctly because for a moment I thought I had incorrectly spelled it Volcanodon instead of Volcanodon, but its name literally means volcano tooth. And if we could see the image, this is a pretty cute one. Pretty cute one.
Oh,
it's a relatively early, it's a relatively early sauropod, which is like the long neck, long tail guys. He's not too big. You think like Brontosaurus brachiosaurus is way bigger. It's a medium size. There's a cat climbing me right now.
Well,
this dinosaur is about twice as tall as Don Draper,
but also has recently gotten a pedicure.
Mm-hmm.
Really nice claws.
Really beautiful. Also, that man looks like he's kind of hot, right? The way he's standing and everything.
Yeah.
Like he definitely has like a presence.
Yeah, would smash.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's keep our focus on the dinosaurs here. We're about to get real sexy, but before we do that, a slightly less sexy superlative. This dinosaur has won the superlative of most devilish. Its name is Diabloceratops. So maybe there's something in that name that helps you figure out at least what type of dinosaur this might be. Diabloceratops.
I think.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, please.
Oh, I was just gonna say it's like a triceratops, but instead of 3, it worships the devil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I was gonna say that it has 2 horns and wrote the film Juno.
Really good. I'm gonna say it has Adam Sandler's bangs in the movie Little Nick.
That is a great dinosaur right there.
I haven't thought of that movie in forever. All right, let's see the reveal of this animal whose name means devil horned face.
Whoa.
Right. Close. Relative of Triceratops.
Wow.
Okay, I would smash that dinosaur.
And it's shorter than a person.
It is. Or the woman
So you
is
could
really
smash.
tall.
It looks like she's changed into more sensible shoes, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, she's definitely.
Or it could be a different woman.
That's true. It's true. It's true.
It could
All right.
be a larger woman.
You guys ready to get sexy?
Yeah,
I've already
always.
been there, but yeah.
So I need your help here because I have 2 final dinosaurs, one of which is going to win naughtiest as its superlative in this totally real high school yearbook we're talking about right now. So the 2 different names, and again, these are 100% real, not made up dinosaur names, are Panty Draco and Erectopus.
They tied for naughtiest?
Yes, and I need you. We'll show the pictures in a second, but whatever commentary you have about them first, then I'll show you the 2 images, and I want you guys to choose who wins naughtiest.
All right.
I definitely think that whichever scientist named the dinosaur Panty Draco is not someone that I want to spend a lot of time with. That feels like that's a person where they mouth breathe that name onto it.
I should mention though. So the name Panty Draco, Panty is an iteration of a Welsh word because it was found in Wales. So it's like a Welsh dragon is what Panty Draco means. The other one just simply means upright, obviously. Upright foot. Upright
Panty
foot.
Draco sounds like Drake's next era after like Champagne Poppy.
100%.
He's like, Champagne Poppy's over. I'm Panty Draco now.
Yep.
I was really hoping you would say something like the Erectopus, because you just said it was like what, upright foot?
Foot, yeah.
It'd be great if you were like, it, obviously just means like upright vagina. That's what the word is.
I think, yeah. So they're both very naughty.
They're both relatively small too, just FYI. So these are not.
No, it's just cold. They're just cold-blooded. It's the cold.
Yeah.
True. All right, I think we should see the 2 pictures. Then you guys are going to tell us who's the most naughty of the dinosaurs.
Sure.
So first, I believe would be Panty. Oh, side to side, love it.
Wow, Panty Draco is the naughtiest because they're really putting on a show.
Yeah, look
Yeah.
at those thighs. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Incredibly well sculpted thighs.
Well sculpted thighs and then a tight little calf.
Yeah.
So you know they go to bar class.
Yep.
Absolutely snatched waist.
And she's got highlights. Come on.
Yeah.
I like that it's camouflaged as if it was walking through fire.
Yes.
Walking through the sale section at Nordstrom fits right in.
Yep. So what do you guys think? We going to the Erectopus or Panty Draco for naughtiest dinosaur?
Panty Draco.
Penny Draco. But wait, can I see that photo again? I'm so sorry to be such a bother. So now normally his erectopus is one of his legs up like that to make it look like it is his dick, or was that specifically for this drawing?
That's exactly how it was found in the fossil record. No, I'm kidding.
Standing up kind of flirty, like, ooh,
Yeah.
hey.
It's like, is this my claw? Or am I just happy to see it?
Okay, we can take this image down. I can't look at that. I can't look at that photo anymore. Oh, wow. Absolutely incredible stuff. Thank you so much. Dustin, that was spectacular. That was amazing. I applaud you, and I thank you so much for your gifts here. At Dinosaur Whisperer, please find more of Dustin's incredible content on Instagram at Dinosaur Whisperer. And Dustin, we will be thinking about that for years to come. Thank you so much.
Of course. Thanks, guys.
Okay. I absolutely love that we got through that segment with none of us asking what the fuck a dinosaur whisperer is. We just flew past it as if that was the normal part.
Like,
and now we'll never know.
Betty Draco.
I didn't know species I named Jeholornis palmapenis, and I'm very upset about that.
Say that one more time.
Yeah.
I named a second species of Jeholornis palmapenis, and I'm surprised it didn't make it to that list. That's all I'm saying.
Cannot believe that I didn't even know that till just right now. Why did you decide to work the word penis into your name?
Well, really, you could say penis, but it's spelled penis. And it has to do with, it's tail. And so it has like a palm frond of a tail. So palmapenis. And
I will tell you that the discovery.
It's very well known. Like if you go in these like, nerd forums where they're like, like name your favorite dinosaur name. And then they'll be like, don't fill this up with Jeholornis palmapenis. And I'm like, that was me.
Wow. I'll tell you what, I bet those nerds have a lot of experience with palmapenis, if you know what I mean.
Okay. Hey-yo, we got it.
I mean, I know I have.
There you go. Okay, well, let's keep moving right along, and let's play a game called Definitely Not Jurassic Park. So in this game, panelists, I'm going to ask you to pitch us a paleontology or dinosaur movie that is inspired by Jing Mei and her work. However, as we already know, she is not a fan of Jurassic Park, right? You did not like the Jurassic Park ones. You just didn't feel them. So we're going to try and pitch a movie that was better than Jurassic Park for you. So with that in mind, panelists, I'm going to give you some inspiration, and then you're going to pitch a movie that's not Jurassic Park, but does draw inspiration from her work. So
okay.
I'd like to show you some photos that you can use as inspiration for your pitch. These are photos that Jing Mei sent over when we asked her what it looks like when she does her research out in the field. These are incredible. This was her response to that prompt. Let's look at some of those photos now. Okay, yep, she sent us this one with a giant drill thing. Next one, what appears to be hammering water. Okay, then.
Laura Dern, who?
The next one in Utah. Okay, and then in South Africa, this next one. Okay, then of course at the classic bird fossil reserve. Yep, that's how everyone takes their photo there. And then, just another totally normal shot. Here is pouring a shot into an inflatable dinosaur's mouth at what appears to be the Great Wall of China. And then, of course, last one, lounging on a rainbow unicorn with a water gun in front of a giant dinosaur that appears to be eating tourists. So, panelists, you have those photos, those actual snapshots of Jing Mei's life, and you are going to now pitch us a dinosaur movie based on her life and work. You can use those photos as inspiration. You can also use anything else from the show. Each of you is going to pitch us a movie. Let's see whose movie is going to get made. Let's start with Josh. Josh, pitch us your movie.
Okay, so this is a story about a paleontologist, right, who is desperate for a scientific breakthrough. They're going to get kicked out of the academy. It's a real publisher perish situation here. So she goes around the world, and she's down to her last dollar. So she's hitchhiking around the world with just a backpack and her trusty hammer. And everywhere she goes, she, bangs at stuff, tries to unearth some good fossils, find some bones, all that, all that good kind of stuff you're looking for. And it is, so this is a sabbatical she takes with her tools to discover something wonderful that's going to keep her in the academia game. And this movie is called Stop Hammer Time.
Okay.
Oh.
Thank you.
A long walk, but the drink was worth it. Chrissy, pitch us your movie.
Great. I loved looking at those pictures, but the minute Chris said pitch movie based on your work, inspiration struck. So your work, obviously, being the evolution, the transition of dinosaur to bird. So I just want to make sure we're all on the same page with this pitch. Have you all seen the movie The Lake House? You have. Sandra Bullock, Keanu Reeves. They communicate to each other through a mailbox, same house, different periods of time. So this is the lake house, but dinosaur and birds. So we have a bird who's moved into a new birdhouse. They are sending letters. They're getting letters in their little bird mailbox. It's from a dinosaur that's not a bird, a dinosaur who quite some years ago, back in time. And they start communicating to each other through these little bird messages. So now we have bird talking to dinosaur, modern day bird, prehistoric dinosaur. They fall in love. I cannot remember the end of The Lake House, but we will just model our ending on that.
Okay.
And it is called The Birdhouse.
Okay, great, of course.
That's excellent. That's great.
Yeah. And Karen,
Okay.
You're going to say Bird Box.
I really didn't think about this. Well, it is January 1945, and the World War II is...
Hey, Steven Spielberg is already in. This is sold to
He's
Steven
like,
Spielberg already.
Schindler's List, Jurassic Park mashup.
World War II is raging, but get this, on a little island off the coast of Brazil. Does Brazil have a coastline? Yes.
Oh,
they
yeah.
have. Okay. Off the coast of Brazil is an island where people just did not know World War II was happening. And you know what? Everybody there obsessed with dinosaurs. So they're all hanging out. And it becomes this event where they're like, we want to be paleontologists, but everybody we write letters to about trying to join the academy, no one's writing us back. So it actually just becomes about them learning that World War II is happening. And by the time they actually realize it, it's over. So then they feel really weird that they've missed out on this huge global event. That's the end of the movie. Yeah.
Wow. Karen, I think it's the first time I've ever heard someone pitch a movie that involves people applying, not hearing back, and nothing else happening.
Just learn. The journey is that they started the movie not knowing World War II happened, and they ended. Now they know.
Which, that's like also the journey of like 4th grade.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
a lot of science.
So Jingmei, you heard 3 movie pitches inspired by your life. Which one would you like to fund? Because we will be funding it after this.
Okay. I'm sorry I have to go with Chrissy again, just because she mentioned Lake House, and then all that I was thinking in my mind was Keanu Reeves, and I was like, yeah, I'm sold.
And we're
Okay,
getting
great.
him back. We're getting
yeah.
him back for the remake.
Okay, congratulations. Yeah, Keanu Reeves is the mailman, right? That's what he plays. He's the one delivering it.
Yeah, Chris, he's the mailman.
Sorry,
I want you to watch The Lake House tonight. Jesus Christ.
I've never seen The Lake House. I admit it. I gotta watch it. I'm flying blind here. Okay, so before we go, let's do one last segment, and let's talk about the fact that often in science and in life, the process of discovering something new and something big, it means getting things wrong along the way. So this is a segment called My Biggest Mistake, and I want to acknowledge, Jingmei, that this, in a way that I think is really cool and that I really respect so much, this segment was your idea, right? You suggested that we should talk about a big, very public mistake that you made. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Okay, relive the worst day of my life. No, I'm kidding. Okay, first of all, like science is all about mistakes. You make a hypothesis based on the currently available data, and then new data comes out, and a lot of times it's like, oh, we were wrong. Wow, it was way crazier than we ever could have imagined. And that's fine, that's science. And so I always say the number one thing, a quality we look for in a scientist is the ability to say, I was wrong. If you can't say you're wrong, please don't be a scientist. So I was working on this little tiny bird skull, or I thought it was a bird skull, and it was supposed to be the smallest Mesozoic bird that had ever been found. It was perfectly preserved in 3D in amber. That's 100 million years old. And so I worked on this thing for like 2 years, and I showed it to a lot of people. And I think some people realized I was wrong. We're just like, we're gonna watch this bitch burn, you know? Like, I really think so. I really think so. Like, I mean, I have enemies, whatever. Anyway, so we published this thing like smallest Mesozoic bird of all time, hummingbird size, you know, hummingbird size enantiornithine for the Mesozoic. And immediately upon publication, like a bunch of people were like, that's a lizard. And I was like, oh shit. And then, so it was like, okay, you know, their arguments weren't really, you know, like, yeah, they saw it was a lizard based on the data, but it was like still like, you know, you could argue either way. But then very soon after, another specimen was found, and it preserved like the rest of the skeleton, which showed very clearly that it was, yes, indeed a lizard. But I mean, it's still crazy. Instead of being like a weird little bird skull, it's a weird lizard that evolved a skull that is bird-like. I mean, that's crazy, and that's still really cool. And yeah, it was embarrassing that I was wrong. I was actually more hurt by my colleagues who were like really nasty about it, people who I thought were my friends and were just like, how could you be so stupid? And I'm just like, wow, ouch. But yeah, you know, we all make mistakes. It's part of science. And I think it's really important to be upfront about your mistakes, to kind of like take the sting out of it for other people and make people also feel more comfortable with their own mistakes, which everybody, you know, we're all make mistakes. Everybody's gonna make them. If you haven't made one yet, you're gonna make one day. So like, yeah, it's important to be comfortable with that.
I absolutely agree. I think that I'm so glad that you shared that. And also I think that it's so important, right? That people know that like being a scientist is not about like being a perfect infallible person. It's about learning and evolving and making discoveries. And sometimes that causes you to revise your previous assumptions. And I think that's actually true for everyone too, right? So I really appreciate you bringing that up and wanting to talk about it. And I would also like to just now make you feel better by having us each share our worst professional mistake. And I will tell you that mine is, once there was an elderly woman at a stand-up show who, before I went on, the host said, don't worry, she hasn't laughed at anything. And I said, well, now my only goal is to make her laugh at my set, even if she liked no one else's. And I devoted my entire stand-up set just to making her laugh. And finally, at one joke, she laughed and no one else did. So I was like, okay, well, everyone else hates my set, but at least she did. And she came up to me after the show. I stood by the door and she shook my hand, and I thought she was gonna be like, you were the only one that I thought was funny. And she was like, you have a pretty good stage presence. Now you just need to work on your writing. And then she left and I was destroyed to my core. So, you know, trying to fix that was my biggest professional mistake.
Was it your mom?
It was my mom, yes. She said, and I'll never see you again. Chrissy, Karen, Josh, anyone have a professional mistake they'd like to share?
Oh, sure. I sent out a resume for 3 years with a typo in my email address that said it was at gmail.com.
Really
oh, no. Oh, no. Well, I don't think, unless you have one that's going to beat that, Chrissy or Karen, you have something worse than that?
God, I wish. That's incredible.
That's
Yeah,
really
no.
good.
It's really bad.
That's spectacularly a big mistake. Okay, well, let's check in on our scores. And thank you so much, Jingmei, for being here. We're coming to the very end of our show. So checking in on the score, it looks like Chrissy Shackelford has the most points and Karen Chi has the least, which means, as always, that Karen Chi won by having the worst wrong answer.
Yes.
And Chrissy lost by having too many correct answers. The show is called Wrong Answers Only. Before we go, Jingmei, tell us, what do you hope that audience members are going to take away from tonight's show about paleontology?
Okay, so people often say, like, you know, what's the point of paleontology? And honestly, like 10 years ago, I'd be like, I don't know, you know, entertaining children. But now, you know, we now recognize that the environmental crisis that we are in is the 6th mass extinction in Earth's history. So by studying paleontology, we can understand past mass extinctions. We can understand why some species have survived and why some haven't. And this is critical information that can help us moving forward in mitigating, the effects of this mass extinction by understanding what species are more, prone to extinction, what causes some species to go extinct and others to survive. And this is really critical information for humans if we're going to try to survive this environmental crisis we've created. I don't necessarily think that we should, but no, I'm kidding. Sorry. But yeah, I really want people to understand that paleontology is a really relevant field. It is applicable to the current crisis, and it's also the only way that we can understand macroevolution. Everybody gets all excited about these genetic experiments on like Drosophila or whatever, but the only way to understand long-term evolutionary patterns is through the fossil record. So it's not just dinosaurs for kids.
Okay, so panelists, that is what Jingmei hopes that everyone takes away from today's show. What will you actually be taking away? Josh, what's your takeaway from tonight's show?
That every time a paleontologist investigates a fossil with acid or lasers or diamond dust, they should say, "No, I expect you to die."
Okay. Okay.
No sore. Sorry.
Oh no.
Yeah. You had to wait for it.
Okay, Chrissy, what are you going to take away?
Well, it was said in passing at the beginning, but vomit semen really stuck out to me.
Yep, that'll stick with a lot of us for sure. And
Very
Karen,
sticky.
Karen, what are you going to take away from today's show?
Oh, I guess that there's a dinosaur out there named Jeff Lornus, and yeah, Jeffrey Lornus, and that's awesome. Good for him.
Well, thank you all so much for playing. Oh, sorry, what was that?
I just said Jeff Lornus palma penis.
Yeah, Jeff, palma penis is certainly what I'm going to take away. I want to just say that is clearly what is sticking with me. Thank you all so much for playing. Thank you so much for being our expert, Jingmei. That was incredible. If you are in the audience, you are going to get an email right after this with bonus information about Jingmei's work. You're going to get links to go deeper into her research and her findings, as well as some great jokes and comedy from our panelists. You'll get ways to follow them, to see their videos and their writing and all the incredible things that they create. And of course, there will also be that trivia contest, which could get your name on our scroll of glory. And we'd also love any feedback from you about the show. We're always trying to improve. That is it for tonight, but we will be back in May with a show all about robots and exoskeletons. And you can sign up for reminders for that right now at labx.org/WAO. In the meantime, though, thank you so much to tonight's expert, Dr. Jingmei O'Connor, our panelists, Josh Gondelman, Chrissy Shackelford, and Karen Chi. And a huge special thank you to Dustin Groit for his incredible segment, The Dinosaur Whisperer. You love him. You learn so much from him. Make sure that you follow him and appreciate all the incredible things that he is doing as well. And thank you so much to everyone at the National Academy of Sciences and LabX and our back-end folks. Amechi, Jesse, Amir, Dempsey, Mario on the tech team. Thank you for making this all run so smoothly. I am your host, Chris Duffy, and this has been Wrong Answers Only. Thanks so much. Have a good night.